welcome to Conquering Mount Scrap with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today's the second part 2 of Worldly Wednesday. Yay, Worldly Wednesday. We're going to explore trip around the world blocks and quilts, and we're going to make charity quilts out of them. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Now, last week we played with this setting. Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and that's the hardest block you're going to make in this quilt. Now I'm changing this up a bit from the traditional patched work, so we're going to have a little bit of fun with this. Of course, you got to make it your own, right? So far this is where we're at. This quilt will not be on point. It'll be filled out with blocks on the end, right? Like, so it's not going to be twisted. Like, it won't be laying this way in a quilt. It'll be laying this way, right? So you guys, right? Okay, I know. I just need to explain. But today we're going to talk about strip piecing. Now, not only can you strip piece these blocks that are coming up that I'm going to show you that we're going to add onto the ends, the low volume, but you can do some strip piecing for the quilt itself. But first, let's get to our shout outs, because otherwise we'll forget. Okay, Sew Ya Brothers is running a charity sew from June 15th to August 15th. Go check the show notes below. It's for Quilts for Alaska. Go to their website, check out, because they'll have all the information there. I'm just giving them like, hey, this is happening kind of a thing, right? Now, our shout out, we're also doing a collab on this channel with Michelle from Bits and Pieces, Future Cat from New Zealand, and Kelly from Kelly's Quilts and Cruises. And I'm not going to mention what date that one's coming out, because it's kind of, we have to have our next meeting. We're filming this June 10th, so it's like, yeah, we have to have another meeting yet, so that's okay. Now, the shout out for today is Corn Wagon Quilt Company, and they're running a sew-along as well. And it's a sampler sew-along, and it's just, it looks like it's a lot of fun. And those people, I couldn't find a name as to who was in charge or who it was, but it looked like they were having a lot of fun with this sew-along. So go check them out, give them some encouragement. Tell them that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you. Now, also in the show notes, it's really important you guys access those show notes. We have a Facebook group. Please join if you haven't joined. It's a really warm, welcoming group. They do all sorts of fabric swaps. And they are just having a blast in there with free patterns and recipes and all the different community chats. And we have a virtual sewing room under Discord for the people in the Facebook group. And that sewing room is open 24/7. We also have the Zoom sew days from now until December. And that is a commitment we're making for you. That's a free sew date. And just bring everything that you want to work on, whether it be sewing or crocheting or knitting or cross stitch, whatever. It's from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm usually in Alberta, Canada. What's the last? Oh, I speak for free. So if your guilds are looking for someone to speak about scrap quilting and giving charity quilts, I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I do that over Zoom. So think of me when your guild's looking for somebody. So come on in. Let's get to this fun sewing today. Okay, we're at the sewing machine. Now, what I did when I picked these out, I decided, okay, I wanted something really light and that looks really low volume. So I'm hoping you can see this really well. That this is a cream background white print. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up the selvage edges here, because those have to be cut off. Now I want to make sure I've got a good straight line this way. So when I put it under my 1/4 inch foot, right, I go as long as I can with basically the table length here. And I make sure that that's all lined up great. And like strip piecing is easy once you get into it. And when you're doing this, of course, what we're doing is 4 patches, but you could also do strip piecing. If you had really long, big strips, you could do strip piecing for the entire quilt or for parts of the quilt that we're sewing together with your dark, medium, light fabrics, right? But that's up to you. I never have something that big in my scraps. But I have something that usually, every once in a while, I do get a 2-inch strip or 2.5-inch strip. So, you know, and I try and make room. Now, we're getting to the end here. So I want to make sure I have, oh, and my thread just snapped. Well, that's not good. Let's make sure its top thread just snapped. So let's clip this off, find out what's wrong. Okay, so we're back. Now I'm just gonna go like 1/2 inch over the same stitching, right? Like 1/2 inch over, back where I was. Yeah, my top thread broke, and then I pulled out my bobbin and bobbin holder, dropped that on the floor, it bounced all over the place. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, so this is how you do strip piecing. Hopefully you don't have, yeah. Okay, so now what we're gonna do with this piece, I need 4 rail fence units, so I'm going to make 4 rail fence units out of this, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm just going to cut. Now this is 2.5, so I'm just going to cut off the selvage edge, right, to get rid of that. And then you make 4. You could make them all different, by the way, too, if you want. But I've got this one piece here. I'm good. It's a nice medium blue. It's got lots of saturation of color. It's pretty cobalt. What could go wrong, right? Now, okay. So, and this is how people do, you know, like the larger scale rails quilts, is they do a whole bunch of strip piecing and then they cut them. Now I can get one out of this. 1 2.5, and this would go back into my crumb bin. This goes back into my crumb bin because it's fairly large, right? So now I'm just going to press to the dark. Now I would actually take this over to my sewing machine or my ironing board, but there's our 4 pieces that are, you know, that are rails blocks. You need 4 rails and the rest are 4 patches. But now I want the 4 patches to kind of, you know, come together in this. I'm going to show you how to do the 4 patches here right away. Just push this out of the way. Really nice. It's kind of a linen cobalt. It's really pretty color, right? So this is our 4 patch, right, that we're making. And we made them all different colors. Basically, I went through and I probably cut way too many, but that's okay. So now I'm going to take this one and this one, and I'm going to switch one around like that. Now, I'm going to, all of the 4 patches, I used white on whites or cream on whites or, you know, cream and cream, like really pale stuff. Because it's a smaller piece, and you know, it's harder when you have a bunch of print on a smaller piece to see that it's really a neutral or a low volume. So there we go. There. And we're just, what you're going to do is you're going to nest that the best you can. And I'm going to show you here what you do. Like what I did, all of my 4 patches, I did the same way. I strip pieced them like this, ironed them out nice and flat, took a ruler, cut them like this, laid out a few, cut them like that, just to get the party started. And then I switched it around. Okay, so let me get this out of the way a bit. And then I did this. I cut 2.5 inch strips out of all of it. Right? So now I'm going to have a whole bunch of, you know, paler mid-tone blues that are going to go sewn together. Now, I went through, basically took all my small, the blues that weren't big, the medium blues that were not big enough to make a 4.5 inch square, I took out and I made them into 4 patches. So I have way more 4 patches now than I need, but I can also use them as orphan blocks, right? So for me, that's okay. I will give you the right amount of 4 patches that you will need to make, so you're not over making, but like I say, if they don't go in this quilt, they go into something else, so it's all good. It's all good. These go back into my crumbs, And the last little bit, I might as well cut the rest here. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun working on this collaboration that we're working on. And it's always very interesting to see what other people see in your work. It's been so cool working with those people, those other artists. And back into the string bit. So now what I would do is I would have these. Now I'm lining up, all of them are sewn where the dark goes in first, but that's okay. I just would take two, not two the same, but I would take two. Now this is a really pale blue, but it's, you know, it almost reads light, but that's okay. We can use that as an example, right? So now, when you're doing your, now you get this nesting, like you can open it up and see exactly where you're nesting, and you can feel it with your fingers. And that's important that you get a really sharp nest, and then once you're over it, then you just go to the next one. Now, what I have done with all of these is I have taken these and I've popped them open like that, and swirled them so they will lie really flat. So that makes that itty bitty little 4-patch in there, and it looks perfect. Now on the other side, because I've taken my time to nest properly, these are just perfectly crisp lines. So that's what you need to be doing here. Now let's get to the sewing part. The lid back on. So we go grab the quilt that we were working on. And now I do have a couple of pieces here that I cheated on because I got a little bit sewing ahead. So what I want to do is these 4 corners, these 4 corner pieces, like the very top, I want to put a rails unit in with the blue or the medium closest to the low volume. So I'm just going to run that through right here, just like so. And get this out of the way. There. There we go. And there, get 2 more together here. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'll go like this. I'm running all of them with the blue going in first, the darker color on top. There we go. Now, because this is the center, or it will be the center, right? There's going to be a center, right, where you can only go 17 squares across, right? Now, I count this rails as a square. So this one, we'll get another rails. Okay. There. So we're sewing the blue onto the low volume, the medium blue onto the low volume. There we go. And, okay, 2 more of this. I'm gonna, okay, this and this will work. There. Kind of a sky color thing going on. Nice nesting. There we go. Now, with this, okay. So with this, we would have yet another, you know, pale color, and then a blue, right? So that would make this a little bit larger. So I'm just gonna, because it's here, I'm just gonna throw it on. Okay. Now that's the entire width of the quilt, right? Okay. There we go. I know some of this is kind of repetitive and you're like wondering, what are you even doing here? Basically, I'm trying to get you guys to think, doing it just as by partial seam and rows. Because if you are trying to do this quilt without, oh, I got that wrong, without a bunch of space to lay this out, because normally they're laid out. They're all laid out and it looks really great. And now you have to pick up all these little blocks one at a time, which is not fun. Okay. There we go. And there. Now this one gets the last of the rails unit with the blue towards. There we go. And one, excuse me, one more little 4-patch. There. There we go. And now I'm going to put the lightest here against the lightest there, because it's a piece block. The low volume or light go against the piece block. Now, some of you are going, why are you doing this way? What happens is because of the size I want to be able to keep this quilt at, I don't want it to exceed a certain width across, and that width is 17 blocks. So right now, I've got the right width. So this, from here to here, from this end here to this end here, is 17. And I've got it perfectly. Now, what I'm going to do, or what I would like to do, is I want to take my 4 patches, because I have way too many of these, and I'm going to lay them out so that when I'm sewing them, as I'm sewing them around on my piece, right, because it's only partial seams, I'm sewing them like this. So I have an angle going this way, and on the upper part I have it going the other way, right? So they're going to basically chain across the quilt. Now, you could have laid all this out on the floor. I don't like to bend that often, and I have problems sometimes with my back and my knees, so I don't do it this way. I have to do all of this by thinking challenge, right? So, I know. So now the next one here would go like this, right? Because you're going to see that in a sec. I'll show it to you in a sec here. Hang on. Now, you're just going to pull this one out and pull it over. And there we go. Get it started. Now, and once we put the third one on, I'll be able to open it up and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so I want this to go this way, right? So now it's going to go this way. All right. Get you here. Lined up here. There we go. Oops. A little short. There we go. There. Now. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and show you the 2 that I just sewed on. The 2 that I just sewed on look like that. And what they're going to do is chain across the bottom. So I'll just got one more here to do. And then we can start the other way. Okay. And just like that. And like that. And like that. Okay. Oy, oy, oy. This is actually easier than doing all the bending and stacking and everything else, but if you like laying it all out and picking it up all off the floor, because I have a design floor, I don't have a design wall. I mean, you can do it that way too. Okay, so now this one has the piece block, and it's going to go this way. Now you see this is the very top or bottom. So one side is going to go like this. And let's see, it's going to go like this. And we're going to line it up. And of course I didn't leave this open, so I'll just pull it open just a hair open so I can put the second block on. This is why you're doing it by partial seams, because now you're going to have that perfect thing. So now on this side of the block, I might have to add another, hang on, I have to add another piece block here. Hold on. Here. Okay, so now we're at the single piece block. Okay, let me show you what I got. So far, I've got all of these chaining across this way, right? So now we're at the single piece block, okay? And we want to go the other way. We want that block to go this way. We now want our blocks to head this way, right? Okay, so now I gotta open up this side to get this going. All right, so there. Okay, this is that simple. You just change directions. Whenever you hit the next rail unit, that's the one where you change the angle in which these are being assembled, right? So let me just pull that back. Okay. There we go. Now, there we go. There. So, when you keep on with this, you're going to put your next one here, right? Which is just like so. And you want that angle now to be this way. So I'm going to, oh, I gotta move this a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to go all the way around and put on my 4 patches and make sure they're all pointing the right direction that I want them to be in, so that I have this working right. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we've gone all the way around with our 4 patches and everything's lining up. So the 4 patches will chain across up to the rails blocks. Excuse me, I don't know why I've got a cough all of a sudden. And the rails block will continue it back across and then down the other way. So that's kind of a cool little effect we've got here. Now, this is where the width ends. This right here, right? So we have a block. Now I'm just gonna bundle this up a bit. So we have a block where it's pieced, low volume, neutral, dark would be the next one. But this is the end of the row, right? So we're going to do a low volume, a neutral, and a dark. And that 3 will make us come out to the end here, right? Now we have 4 of them to do like that, so we might as well do all 4 at once. Or yeah, we have 4 of them to do, so we might as well do all 4 at once. So we'll pick another light, medium. Oh, let's get a nice medium. This is a nice medium. Medium, a light, a medium, and a dark. There. I know, I've got like 3 big piles here, and I have probably cut too much, but that's okay, because I'm going to use them. That's fine. There's 1, 2, okay, 3. Might as well get the 4th one piled up too. There we go. So there. So that's all the lights we're going to need for now. And the mediums are 1 and 2. Well, I'm going to put this medium here, and this medium here, and the darks now. There's a dark. Oh, and there's another dark. There we go. Now those 2 look really close, don't they? But they are, they do work. So we're going to sew these 4 groups because we need 4 of them that read light, a medium, and dark. So we get, you know, 4 rows now right to the end, right? So let's get that sewing done, and we can accomplish it really quick. We just roll all the mediums and the lights through first. Okay. Oops. There we go. There. Cute. I like this with the doves. That's kind of neat. A neat fabric. Cute little fabric. There. Get that last of the 4 patches off. Okay. And there. And lastly, we're going to do this. There. There we go. Oh. Well, poor Albert. Poor Albert is crying in the background. Did anybody hear that? Yes. He's got food, he's got water, he's got more toys than probably any of his other cat friends. Okay. There we go. Let's get... And we want to sew this one onto the medium. There. And yeah, we changed around which ones are going to go where. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to put 2 on this side and 2 on the other side, and the white is the light is going to go down first. I keep saying light or white. It's the lightest, not whitest. Okay. There we go. There's one. There. Okay. Okay. Now the other side of this is here, and we're going to give it a twist because we can. It's so easy to just give it a twist and move on. Here we go. Yeah, when I started cutting out this, I actually cheered every time I got rid of a piece of fabric. I cut too much for one quilt, but that's okay, because I can use it in another quilt. It will be fine. Okay. Oops. Get this too. And this last one goes here. And because some stuff, it sits in your stash for so long, it becomes a burden. Okay, now let's just take this all apart. Okay, let's just take this all apart. Now this is where the ends are, right? This is where the ends are. Now you see this, but the next one only has a light, a medium, a dark, a medium, right? So we're going to, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make 4 of those, and we'll get this done. I'm going to come back once I finish that, because you guys see how that, you know, that the light, medium, dark is working. So I'm just going to roll through these and make 4 more of this, just by picking up 4 separate lights and 4 separate darks, and we'll get to our light, medium, dark, medium rows, and then I'll come back and I'll show you once what it looks like once all of that's sewn on. Okay, so we put on all the extra pieces. Now what I've done is I've also sewn them together, right? So now this is the last one I don't have to sew together, and it goes right to the end. Now you see the end is now being squared off, and you got your medium, your dark, your medium, your dark, your medium, right? And that's how that pattern goes on the sideways. Now let's just flip this around and get that last seam done before I put on the next kind of blocks. And you can see this pattern come together very quickly, or you should be able to now. So I started here, to leave a space, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put my needle under this. Oh yeah, we've had all sorts of fun here. Put my needle under it, back, forth a little bit, just to get stuff, you know, working the right way. Now I want to make sure I have good nesting going on, because this will look really sharp, you know, and crisp. Then your lines will look really sharp and crisp. We've even had to stop and roll bobbins. So yeah, it's been kind of a weird day here, but it'll be fine. It's all part of sewing, you know, like your thread breaks, your machine's out of bobbin, you know, all these things happen, and it's a regular course of sewing. So now you're looking for the seams that have to match up. There we go. And there we go. Okay, and right to this last bit here. Now, we're just clicking along here. Holy crap. Okay. Basically now you filled out to the edge. Now comes the next round. Okay. And let's flip it this way. Now the next round here is a neutral, a medium, a dark, a medium, a neutral. And I have a bunch of those already sewn. So I'm going to make a couple of quilts out of this, by the way. So I have a couple of these already sewn. So I'm going to quickly put those on right up to this part here. Right up to this area here, and I'm working this way, not out, but this way. So I will be back when I'm finished this, and then I'll show you how to cap this off. Okay, this is our partial ta-da moment. Now you can see those 4 patches floating across and chaining up to the rail fence unit, up to the top. You can't see the bottom, but they do chain over there as well to the rail fence block. Now, we have made this the correct width, and now we stop adding width. We're not adding any more blocks to the sides, and actually this is where we stop. We need to go 23 rows up and down. My back is done for the day. So is my husband. He's holding up the quilt as I'm sewing, and the more fabric you add, the heavier it gets, and he's not used to standing still, because he doesn't. Trust me on this. And I'm, you know, it's kind of like, yeah. So what we're going to do is show you how to finish the top, and then you only have to fill in the corners. And once those corners are filled in, you have your twin size quilt. So you need, the next video is going to show you how to cap the top, And then the next video after that's going to show you how to do the corners from here all the way to the top, right? But we don't want to go past 23 squares this way, right? So there's a little bit in the strategy involved in here. You don't want to make it too big, and we're still okay for what's going on. But you can kind of see how it's now starting to arc too with the darks, right? It's starting to, and then the lights, you can see it better when you're further away from it. And with the mediums being kind of that blurring effect, you know, between the darks and the lights. So I hope you are following along on this. I will put in the instructions how many 4 patches you need, and how many rail fences you need, and how many, like, you know, the light, mediums, darks, you know, all of that, what you would need to make this round. Then we're going to do just the caps, both caps on top and bottom, and then the sides. So I'll give you better instructions, but it really does chew up your scraps. Like, I went from a overstuffed blue scrap bin, a little skinny one, to almost being like that high, right? Because I cut lots, and I'm going to make more than one quilt doing this method, right? So this is kind of like, it's a really fast way of going through scraps. And I do have enough now to probably make another quilt. I don't know if I'm going to go with the light, medium, dark, medium, light, but I could play around with this. I could have a few ideas with this. But this is just fun. This is all this is fun. So until we meet each other again on next Wednesday, I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead and life is going great. Okay, you take care until then. Okay, bye! Hello again. We just want to thank you for enjoying our video and, you know, coming along with my husband and my YouTube adventure and quilting. And, you know, sometimes things don't work out as best they should, and sometimes they work out great. We're going, wow, that went well. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm so glad I could share it with you. Share, like, and subscribe these videos. That really helps us out, and it helps us make more charity quilts, okay? So you guys take care until we have a chance to meet again, okay? Bye!